We are really fortunate to have the three panelists that we have today. They are all LinkedIn and marketing experts. They're going to really be sharing some actionable ideas with us today. So each of you introduce yourselves, take a minute to tell us kind of who you are and what you do. And we can start with Mr. Jay Berkowitz.
My name is Jay Berkowitz, and my company is 10 Golden Rules. And today we're going to talk about LinkedIn, of course. And I wanted to cover on a few things. Your network is your net worth, and the importance of building your network and the role LinkedIn plays on that. I'm going to share with you my favorite new toy. And this is an amazing, amazing technology that I'm using in a couple different ways in LinkedIn. I'll show you that. We did a virtual job hire, actually. And during coronavirus, hired someone 100% virtual on LinkedIn. I'll show you a couple of the tips and tricks for that, and how we use LinkedIn a little bit in building our sales leads and CRM. And finally, I'll talk a little bit about content strategies for LinkedIn. So my name, as I said, Jay Berkowitz. I come from one of the coldest places on earth, Winnipeg, Canada. As a matter of fact, one day last year, it was even colder than Mars. And the beauty of Winnipeg is that the summers are beautiful. And a lot of the cottage country looks like this, and it really makes up for those terrible winters. But 18 years ago, my wife and I got smart, moved down here to Boca. There's Bonnie with our little guy, Parker. And my history and background, I worked for a number of relatively big companies as a director of marketing. I worked for Sprint, and I worked for McDonald's restaurants. And as a director of marketing at McDonald's, we did commercials and marketing and advertising and promotions, and we sold some of the most delicious, high-fat food in the world. And I moved directly from Canada working at McDonald's to ediets.com. So it was really good because I personally lost about 10 pounds, and I helped lots of people lose millions of pounds. And eDiets was a really great success story. We were based in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and we were able to take this completely 100% online business to $60 million in revenue. And when I was at eDiets, I was asked to speak at the Direct Marketing Association, and I wrote a presentation called the 10 Golden Rules of Online Marketing. And 10 Golden Rules became my company after I was asked by a number of folks if I would do consulting for them. And so 10 Golden Rules is now a digital marketing agency. We work principally with law firms. We work with a number of very significant law firms across the country, and that's kind of our specialty. And we also, we do work with a number of other companies as well. And this is a new website we just put up for Stewart & Stewart. And I'm very proud as a Canadian to have several of these hockey stick graphs. So what do we, in business, we call it a hockey stick when your graph moves across the blade like a hockey stick and then up the shaft of the hockey stick. And this is one of our clients' websites. They were getting 2,000-3,000 people a month to their website, and now they're getting 8,000 or 9,000 visitors per month. And a couple of years ago, they were getting 24, 25 leads a month, and now they're getting as many as 200, 250 leads a month. And a lead in internet terms is a call. Someone calls the number on the website, they fill out a form, or they do a chat. So anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about networking and LinkedIn. And the first thing I would say is that you have to have a mentality of giving with no expectation of anything in return. This is a LinkedIn lead that I shared with a gentleman, and he was looking for a member of his board of directors, and I recommended my friend Richard Kane. He's got a technology startup specialized in space, and Richard is involved with the X Prize Foundation, which gave the first trip to space, etc. This is a lead for our buddy, John knows him, Jatin knows him, Al Pasquarella, and the L'Hermitage was looking for a new florist. This is a lead for someone who's looking for a Wikipedia editor. This is a referral I just sent Jatin. The ink is wet on this one. So Jatin, someone's looking for a videographer, so hopefully you can connect with him. So I just want to share that because all of these meetings, all of these virtual coffees that Debbie recommended, and I'm doing these meetings like interspersed throughout my client work all day, every day. I'm working really hard to help people out, find out what they need and build those connections. And really that's the heart of giving with no expectation in return. My next theme is called Your Network is Your Net Worth. And joining groups like this group is fantastic. This strategic forum is my CEO group. And then I met John and Jatin through a group called BNI, Business Network International. If you can get in a BNI group in your category, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic because every week we get together. We used to get together at Maggiano's. Now we get together we order our Maggiano's to go, and we do it on Zoom. And we get together every week. And we have a really simple job. It's to get everybody else business. I mean, what an amazing thing that there's a group that exists of 40 people to help you get business. And they're really, really oriented to doing that. This is a national legal entity that I'm involved in. I'm also involved in the local FLN. So that's another group of like 40 people who meets once a month to help each other do legal stuff and legal marketing. This is a book club I'm a member of. And by the way, I highly recommend this book. We just reviewed The Fish That Ate the Whale. It's a story of America's banana king, and he was a Russian immigrant who built this, what would today be a $500 million business, the biggest fruit company in the world. So being a part of these networks gives you the opportunity to make all kinds of connections. Now, let's say we were back in the real world, in the old world, in the physical world, where we would be doing this at a bar somewhere, and the band would be queuing up and tuning up to go live. In the old days, bad networking was the cheesy guy who used to try and hand out so many business cards, and he thought that was good networking. But good networking is not handing out the most business cards. Good networking is one-on-ones. And I used to know this, and it was kind of sad that I sort of forgot how important that was until I joined BNI a couple of years ago. And, John and I got together for a one-on-one. Jatin and I got together for a one-on-one. And it's not the time you spend at your networking function where everybody gets 1 minute to talk about what they do. And what I would highly recommend for everyone on this call is pick 2 or 3 people that you think you could have a business relationship with. Now don't try and pick people who you're going to sell something to. Pick people who are like John Morgan, guys who are fantastic networkers, fantastic relationship builders, guys who are going to give their heart and soul to help you find business, help you find a job, and do everything they can to see how they can help you. And matter of fact, John, that's the first question John asks in the last question every time you talk to him is, hey, what can I do to help you? So the power of the one-on-one, like I used to always do my one-on-ones at Starbucks, or, if there was someone I really thought I would have a long-term business relationship, I would book a lunch. And obviously we're in a virtual world now. Now, Debbie told me this about 2 years ago, and I started doing it, what she calls virtual coffees. And so I booked these virtual coffees. This guy's a super powerful networker. His name's Steve Noodleberg. And we got together and had our virtual one-on-one. And what came out of that? Well, Steve asked me to be on his podcast called Tell Me Something Good. And I asked Steve to be on my webinar all about rainmaking. And, then the promotion was flying. He was promoting the webinar, and I was promoting the webinar, and then he was promoting the podcast, and I was promoting the podcast. Now, building on what Debbie said, this is my most amazing favorite tool. I told you guys I'd share my new secret weapon, and it's an amazing tool called Calendly. And it's like calendar, but it's calendly.com. And why is it so amazing? Well, it's amazing because when I meet someone in LinkedIn and I take Debbie's advice and, they want to connect with me, or I find them doing some research and I see that they're potentially a valuable connection. Like, for example, today a guy connected with me and he's a recruiter for law firms based in Miami. I mean, that's an amazing business connection for me because we specialize in internet marketing for law firms. He specializes in hiring for law firms. I'm sure he deals with lots of CEOs and COOs at law firms. So my reply to him was, absolutely, I'll connect. I said yes. And then I sent him a note. I said, hey, Harold, looks like we target, we both do business with law firms. Let's grab a quick Zoom meeting. Click here. You can see my calendar and book the meeting. Now, the amazing thing about Calendly is they can see my calendar. So they can pick a day. They can see my calendar. They can pick an opening. And then when they click it and book it, I get an email where it goes right into my calendar. I get an email confirmation, And I've also integrated Calendly with Zoom. So when you book a Calendly with me, you automatically book a Zoom. The Zoom's done. The meeting's done. I don't have to put it in my calendar. He or she doesn't have to put it in their calendar. So I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about this because you can tell I'm super passionate about it. But this is a difference between a rookie networker and a rock star. And it's a difference between, like if you're looking for a job opportunity and someone introduces you to someone, even if it's for an informational interview, like this, the stupid way of doing it, and sorry to be blunt, but it's like I get these emails all the time. Hey, I was wondering if you have some time to talk next week. And then I'd reply and say, yeah, I'm pretty good. Maybe we could talk Tuesday or Wednesday. And then they reply, and then I miss the email. I don't even see it till Thursday. So the beauty of Calendly, this is an amazingly powerful vehicle. I send one link. I say, hey, click this link, put something in my calendar. It'll book a Zoom meeting for us. And we're done, people. This is a powerful tool, and that's why I'm going to stop raving about it now. So the next thing I want to talk about, and by the way, I will get back to Calendly. The next thing I want to talk about is hiring on LinkedIn. So we ran into this terrible coronavirus situation, and this is way back in March, and none of us knew how long it was going to last. And I talked to my partner, and we had an open position. We were planning to hire, and I waited another week, and I checked with him. I said, we're still going to hire this position, right? He said, yeah, we agreed. We definitely want to hire this position. So I posted a job for a digital account manager here in Boca. Now, I love LinkedIn hiring. There's a lot of different reasons. One of the things is it's a pretty good tool. You can put some qualifiers in there, like this says that 4 out of 4 required qualifications. So it was like a little questionnaire because I wanted to make sure that someone is based here locally, that they had a little bit of marketing experience. I forget what the other qualifiers were. But it just sort of cuts down from the hundreds of people who might reply. I think we did get over 140 applications within a couple weeks. Now, what I did is I quickly vetted these applications. I looked at their resumes, and LinkedIn is great because not only can you see their job history, you can see if anyone recommended them. Debbie said how important that is to recruiters. It's also important to this recruiter. And the other thing that's really, really powerful is, I think Debbie mentioned this as well, is like I can layer my network on their network. So it's like as soon as I can see if they have a first or second degree connection, and I know so many people here in South Florida, there's a really good chance that I'm going to know someone who knows them. So for a lot of the candidates that I liked, I was able to check with someone who knew them, someone that I knew. So I posted the job. I reached out to the folks. And can anybody guess how I reached out to them? You can put it in the chat. You can grab the chat at the bottom there.
Calendly.
Yeah, hey, big surprise, right? I sent them a little note. I said, I love your resume. I think you'd be a great applicant for the job. Please click this link to set up a quick meeting. You can see my calendar, and it'll set up a Zoom meeting for us. And I only gave them 15 minutes. So with the Calendly app and the Zoom app, I can set up only a 15-minute meeting. I wasn't taking a ton of time. I met about 15 candidates. We got down to 4 we really liked. I had them meet a couple of my other team members. Then I went back on Zoom. I met with a couple of the candidates again. I made an offer to one of them, and she signed by DocuSign. So we did this like entirely digitally and entirely virtually. And I'm so happy to say Laura's joined our team. Couple other things on LinkedIn business development. This is getting a little bit, it's actually like a webinar unto itself, but I use Sales Navigator, and it's a great tool. You can identify keywords. You can identify school's a great one. If we went to a college down here, not as good for me coming from Canada. Industry, job title. And I target folks that I want to meet, particularly law firm owners. Another great strategy is adding content to LinkedIn. Here I added this great article to LinkedIn. One of the amazing things about adding articles to LinkedIn, when you add an article to LinkedIn, LinkedIn promotes it. They're like, Jay Berkowitz published an article. And this is a new feature you can get. Here's Noodleberg again. Every morning at 8 a.m., he does a LinkedIn Live, which is a live sales huddle, and he's a sales trainer. It's amazing, right? And the final thing I'll share with you is what I call thought leadership. And every month we're doing a webinar. We send out an email. Of course, we post it in LinkedIn. I post it in my personal LinkedIn and the company's LinkedIn. I post it on Facebook. Here's the landing page. And when people register for the webinar, they go to a thank you page, and you guys will never guess what comes up on the thank you page. I lost my slides for some reason. I guess we're not going to get that slide, but there's a little link that says, thank you for registering for the webinar. If you can't wait for the webinar, click here to set up a quick meeting with Jay, and they can see my Calendly. So you guys know how that works. And it works awesome. We got 9 qualified leads for lawyer marketing last month. And this concept I call cascading, pretty simple. We start with something like a post or a landing page for our webinar, and then we post about it on our blog, our Facebook, our LinkedIn. We send out a MailChimp email. So just to sum up, your network is your net worth. Participating in groups like this is awesome, but don't just stop with showing up. Your job, you haven't even started your job. If you're going to do this every month, the most important thing you can do is set up a couple one-on-one meetings with business connectors, people you think you can build a relationship with. I highly recommend using Calendly. I posted my Calendly in the chat, so go back, please click on it, book a meeting with me, and let's have a one-on-one and talk about how we can do business. So with that, I'll just say thank you very much. How you can help me, my company's 10 Golden Rules. We specialize in internet marketing for law firms. I'm always looking for other speaking opportunities. When I speak live, I always say, write FU on the back of your business card and bring it up to me. If you'd like to have a follow-up meeting, FU, right? Follow up. It's supposed to be funny. And finally, click my Calendly link. Let's get together. So thank you so much.